So you made a stop here in the Toledo area to talk with some union workers here, and as we all know, this is a big union town, and it's very important to voters that they're getting everything they need from Washington in order to be successful. So what are some of the things that you wanted to let them know about your campaign that you're running?
You know, we're focusing like hell on jobs and wages and building stuff and really bringing manufacturing to communities like Toledo, making investments, out competing China. I mean, that's really ultimately what we want to do. And you know, as the campaign moves into the next phase here after the primary, we really want to make a real clear contrast with J.D. Vance, the person we're running against, and some of the things that he said, and the differences really between us. So that's why we're here.
And one of the things that's very different and that's a lot of people are noticing is that the campaign you're running is different from a lot of the other campaigns we see in this era. It's not focused on, this person, it's focused on the issues, what people want. So what are some of the issues that you want to tackle if you're elected to the Senate?
Well, bringing manufacturing here to Toledo, to Ohio, really making Ohio the economic and manufacturing powerhouse of the country and the world. This is a great time, a time of great possibility. If we play our cards right, if we stop the stupid fights, if we come together as Americans, not as Democrats and Republicans, because that's really not getting us anywhere, come together as Americans. And if we can do that, we can achieve our economic objective. And really the key, is that the understanding that the source of American power is the great American middle class. And if we don't have a strong middle class, we're not going to have a strong country.
You really do have this message of unity and bringing people together because it's not about everyone's background. It's about the issues and getting things done. So what are going to be some of the challenges when it comes to bringing people together and bringing our elected officials together?
Well, I think you have people, quite frankly, like a J.D. Vance, who has said that, America's kind of a joke. That's his quote. And I think America's the greatest country on God's green earth. He said he's not really comfortable in Ohio. And there's no place I'd rather be than Ohio. So, people running for office to take power, to represent the wealthiest interests in the country, I think is a real problem. And he's had his campaign funded by a billionaire from Silicon Valley, wrote him a check for $10 million to help him win his campaign. So to me, that's the big challenge, the interests that aren't necessarily for working class people or, communities like Toledo.
You did great last night in terms of getting voters on your side and to follow this journey that we're all going to be having. There's a lot of days left until we can figure out who's going to be taking Senator Rob Portman's place. So what was your reaction to last night's results, and what did that indicate to you?
I was really proud that we were able to get 70% of the vote, even in a primary, which is significant, and I think it means that we have a message, an economic message, a pro-American message, a pro-unity message, reform, that has a broad appeal, whether it's with Democrats, Republicans, and independents. And I really want people to know that I'm representing people who are in the exhausted majority, just tired, tired of all of this. And they have a home in my campaign. They have a home here, whether the Democrats, Republicans, or independents. They can help us, and let's move this country forward together.
You spoke about the war in Ukraine tonight and your message to Americans, which is that we do have to unite to help our allies when they're in situations like this. So what needs to happen now to ensure that Ukraine is getting the adequate support they need from us?
Well, I can continue to push armaments, anti-missile, anti-tank, a lot of other equipment there, obviously humanitarian aid, more and faster. And I've been pushing for airplanes to protect the airspace, but this looks like it's going to be a more long and drawn out war. And we need to just say we stand for freedom. We're the most powerful country in the world, and freedom is the basic principle. We need to make sure that we are supporting Ukraine as they move forward to try to push Russia. I just don't think Russia should get 1 inch of territory in Ukraine. We can't reward this kind of bad behavior.
Manufacturing, agriculture, two big things here in Ohio. What's your message to voters?
Well, I've been one for my whole career, along with Marcy Kaptur, pushing manufacturing, next generation. We're not going to make the junk that's made overseas, but I want us to really make the high-end goods, the electric vehicles, the electric trucks, the batteries, the charging stations, the component parts, the supply chain, and really focus on building the chips like the Intel project that's going outside of Columbus. How do we bring more of that to Ohio? That's the high-end manufacturing. Those jobs pay really well. And I think, that places like Toledo are perfect because they did that in the last version of the industrial age, and we want them to do it with America 2.0.
Representative Tim Ryan, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.